All right, folks, here we are. Beautiful Louisiana waterway. It's sun's starting to go down. I've got maybe about another 30 minutes, 45 minutes out here, and the gnats are gonna come in, and they are vicious little pains in the butt. They don't bite; they're just annoying as hell. But anyway, so I'm gonna talk about how I have my fishing kayak set up here a little bit. So the fish are still jumping out here. I do have a line still in the water, so it would be really super cool if something took off with my line while I was have video going. That would be cool, but it's probably not going to happen. I got a lot of bites today. Got a lot of hard pulls. Didn't reel anything in, but at least I know that the bait that I have opted for, the lures and the artificial bait that I'm using now, is working. They like it. I just haven't hooked anything yet. Live bait tends to work a lot better. I have a lot better luck. I have opted to switch from, let me pan over here just in case we see some fish jumping while I'm talking here. From what I've done some research on live bait versus artificial, and I had been noticing that when I use live bait, the fish tend to swallow the bait with the hook. I mean, they swallow the hook, and that's a death sentence for a fish. So if it's big enough to keep, you're good to go. But if it's not quite big enough to keep, or it's not something that you really wanting to fish for, then you're cutting loose that fish with a hook back in the water. So it's less stressful on a fish, from what I understand, to just cut the line and leave the hook in than it is to try to get the hook out. But the fish is going to die either way. So I kind of shied away from artificial lures and artificial bait and hard lures and that kind of thing, because I always thought that would be worse for the fish, but apparently it's not. And I have found that the fish that I have caught on artificial bait that I'm using, they don't swallow the hook. So I've caught a few things that catfish that were, hey there, why don't you jump on my hook? So yeah, they're still jumping out here a little bit. Let me turn this way here. Maybe we'll see them jumping again over here in this grass. So anyway, this is going to be a long video, so you might as well just get some popcorn, get your coffee, get a shot of whiskey, whatever you want. Sit back and enjoy. So this is if you're either interested in hearing me talk or just like things about fishing. I don't know. Where was I? Oh, so I found that when I was using the artificial lures and the plastic baits and stuff, the fish were not swallowing the bait. So when I would catch something like a really small catfish, it was easy. I'd pull the hook out and let the catfish go. So I found that in doing some research that live bait, the fish do tend to swallow the hook more with live bait than they do with anything artificial. And that's been proven to me over and over again. Now the fish, for me, because I'm not quite schooled up on the proper way of using artificial lures just yet. There is a technique to it, so I'm learning that, and I'm getting better. Do a lot of YouTube videos. I'm getting better with that. So, but they don't swallow the hook, which is good. So I've caught a couple of reds on artificial, and I caught a flounder on artificial, so which is pretty cool. So I know that I can do it. It's just having it hooked up on the line properly and being able to sneak up on those fish to get them actually jump on my hook. So so that's my input on artificial versus live. The other thing that I don't have to listen to that bubbler. I had a bucket that had an air bubbler in it, and I don't have to listen to that running constantly. So outside of a few boats going by, I think there's one behind me. It sounds like a big one, probably a big shrimp boat. It's pretty quiet without having to have that bubbler going all the time. So, okay, so let's talk about the kayak. I have a 12-foot fishing kayak. This one is designed on the bottom that you can actually stand up and still maintain balance. It's not going to flip. Some kayaks you just absolutely cannot stand up in them. I have not, short of just trying to get in and out of the boat and having to maneuver around some stuff to stand up in the boat. I have stood up in the boat a couple of times, but I'm not that steady, so I'm not interested in falling out of the water, at least here in Louisiana, where there's freaking alligators and biting fish and doggone gar and whatever else is down in here. So I don't want to fall off in this water. It's only about 4 or 5 feet deep right here. Most of the areas that I fish around are only about 4 or 5 feet. Maybe some I might get up to 8 foot, but very seldom. But still, I don't want to fall into water. So from what I decided to do, because I couldn't figure out when I caught a fish what I was going to do with it and how I was going to handle that, because I'm in a small I mean, this is narrow. I have gear in here. I have a little bit of foot room, but there's not a lot of room here to bring in a fish, kill it, right, bleed it, and do all that, all the stuff that needs to happen. So I thought, I'm going to make me a live well. So I manufactured my own live well. And what I did now hold on just a second, let me slide forward in here a little bit. So what I did is I have this cooler, and it's perfect because it balances out the things that I have in the rear of the boat, right? So I have this cooler. Lean up here. This is kind of hard to do it with while holding the camera. This will open. All right, so I have this live well, and I got this little piece in here. When I actually put a fish in, I can get on my knees. I have both hands, and it's much easier to manage, so the fish doesn't have less chance of the fish jumping back out of the boat. But I have this that kind of helps when I'm putting a fish in. If I already have a fish in there, that kind of helps me to just manage that, get the fish in there. And I've got it's a aerator that's in there. I got the cord. You can see the cord coming out. There we go. So, and then I can operate that back here, which is a lot closer to me. And I got my little battery right here. So I'm gonna hook this up real quick so y'all can see how this works. And I'm doing this one-handed again. So hold on, red on red. There we go. And then we got black on black, and it should just automatically start up there. And there she goes. And what this will do is it moves the water around, aerates the water. Open up. Use that hand. So you can see it in there. It just aerates the water, moves the water around, and what that does is going to keep the fish alive. Now it's not a very big live well, but I'm having to work within the constraints of the boat that I have. But it does work, and I can put a couple of good size trout in there, a couple of reds in there. Really anything that's going to be bigger than that cooler, you really don't want to keep, because they've just been in the water too long. From an environmental standpoint, they've been in the water a little bit too long, and you're risking them having toxins and things in their body. Also the reds, the bigger they get, well, not really the reds, the black drums, tend to have worms when they get big. So some people still eat them. They'll fillet them, cut the worms out, burn the worms out, whatever they do, and still eat them. I don't. I have not caught a fish with worms yet. That is, well, I may have, because I did catch a really huge black drum. So, but I threw it back in, so it probably had worms because it was ginormous. So, okay, so let me turn this back off here. And all I do is just unhook these right here. So, so that's that. That kind of weights the nose of the boat for me. And it also leaves me a little bit of space in here. I do have a cooler. No alcohol. I don't take alcohol with me when I'm in the boat. If I'm bank fishing, a little bit different story. I might have some kind of liqueur with me, or some kind of whiskey or something with me, but when I'm out in the boat, I don't, just because. The one thing that I haven't put in that I need to put in is fishing pole holders. I haven't got that quite done yet. I do have a paddle here. This is just in case the trolling motor goes out on me, which, you know, I did have trouble with the battery at one time, and I had to row in. It's good to have that. Also, it just helps you to push off. Also, they talk about, here we go, what are you doing there, fish? You can jump on my hook over here. They also talk about, as far as alligators, I mentioned the alligators. They say that you stay away from the grass areas. Alligators aren't going to bother you. When you get off really close into the grass areas, that's their breeding ground. That's where, you know, mama has their babies, and any mama's going to do what any mama's going to do, and they're going to protect those babies. So I constantly wash around just to be sure. The one thing that they say to do is pound the side of the boat. It just makes noise. Use your oar, hit the side of the boat. On occasion, I'll just hit the side of the boat just in case there's one that's creeping around that doesn't know I'm here and I haven't seen its nose yet. Which brings me to the next thing, as far as having a live well. Northern fisher people, you use the stringer, and that's not something you want to use here, because especially if you have a fish that's bleeding from the hook, and you drop that thing in the water, and that's just calling predators. So that's another reason why I have I just do the live well and kill the fish when I get back. Okay, so that's the front of the boat. The middle of the boat here, I've got the cooler. Let me try to swing around. The sun's going down quick on me. I don't want to be out here after dark because I do not have lights on this thing yet. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Man. So here I got my trolling motor on the back. The battery's right there. Easy to hook up. Just stick that in there, and I got power. Then I've got a little box that I keep with me back here. It's got, this is awesome sunblock. It's expensive as hell, but it's fantastic. And in here I got, this is a wet bag. I've got snacks and things in there. There's my bug sprays down in there. I got some ties in case I need them. And then directly behind me is my tackle box so that I can get to it. Now this all balances and weights out very well. And you can't really see it in the video, but the boat is quite level, which is great. When I first started, I was getting a lot of water here in the back. I have very little water. I mean, that's probably just from splashing. Actually, that's from when I'm changing my bait out and I bring the bait in. It just gets a little water there. And I don't have any water in here now, and I'm level. Ooh, the bugs are starting to come. Okay, so yeah, it's going down quick. Okay, so what I have here, and I do an anchor. I can kind of get out in the middle, kind of close to the grass area, and I have this. It's just a piece of the rubbery float type. Actually, it's pipe fitting cover is what I used, and I tied it on this orange thing here. So what happens sometimes is the bigger boats will come through here and create a great a wake for me, and it causes me to do this thing. And if it gets tipping too much, I don't want to be anchored when that happens, so I can just unhook this anchor, drop the anchor, power out of there, and then this will float to the top of the water, and I can just come back around after the waves are calm and get my anchor back out of the water, because this is floating at the top tied to this bright orange bungee cord. So that's awesome. Something else I was going to mention. Oh, I was going to show you the bait that I have been using, what I've been having out here. So I've got the voodoo shrimp. That's what I got on the line now. Get it skim over there. So voodoo shrimp. I got 2 or 3 different kinds of colors of these that I use. The fish absolutely love these things. The gulp shrimp. This is ghost shrimp. I've got like full-size shrimp. This is like $4, $5, and they freaking love it. Crabs love it too, though. This voodoo is more like $7, $8, $9 item. This I just bought. They were really hitting hard on this, and this is to simulate mullet. It's a really big bait, but they were hitting on it. It felt like something hit my boat. That's spooky. Hold on. I have to be sure there's no alligator out here. Okay, so anyway, that's a good sized bait, but they were biting at it, so I may try that again. I also use what's called a corker. Let's see if I can get that out real quick. This is popular down here, and it simulates, where'd it go? It simulates the sound of a fish, of a mullet, different kinds of fish underwater, and it's just like this. It sits in the water. Actually, it's just this way, and you got your bait. You got a line that comes out, leader line out on there. Put your bait on that, and then when you throw it out, you just kind of pop it. So if I make it do it without holding it, so it kind of, it's hard to do it with it's not actually hooked to something, but you kind of get the idea how it kind of goes like that. And it makes noise, and fish love it, and I was getting a lot of hits on that when I was using that today. So, I don't think I forgot anything. That's pretty much it. That's my fishing stance right now. So, it's kind of cool. And the sun is going down very quickly. So, I'm going to power off this video. I'll get it loaded later on today. Actually, by the time you're watching it, it's going to be loaded, so what I just said really doesn't make any sense, but I hope everybody enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope maybe I'll be doing more of these. Maybe I'll actually get some video of a freaking fish that I'm actually bringing in. We'll find out. All right. Have a nice one.